Hello and welcome to the Gaming Dudes. In this one we are going to go over Autumn Mountain and where all the locations are for all of the collectibles upon your first visit, and obviously before you complete the Water Vellumental. So kick back, relax, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, join our little channel, we'd greatly appreciate it. Alright, so let's get in. We're boarding the cable car and tram and we get to meet a new companion. This little cute bomb is actually going to, well, be a part of our little club. As much as he was not really interested at the beginning, he didn't really like being ignored. So, graciously, we accepted him and allowed him to join our little party. Alright, so let's get into today's video. Wow, this looks really nice. Alright, so the next story arc is taking out the blue streamer. So as soon as we get off of this tram, we can already see a toad there. So let's go get him. That's going to be 1 of 20 on this level. Alright, let's head down the stairs. We can see another toad here. It's 2 of 20. Awesome. And then there's 3 holes here. So there's 18 holes total on this level. So let's get 1, 2, and 3, as well as our first block. And then there's one other hole that was over by that toad earlier. We're going to cover that up as well, because that's always important to do. So after this, there's a little section behind the tram, so we're going to go over here. Alright, after the screen comes back up, we can hit this pile of leaves here, and that's going to be the 3rd toad, as well as that red maple leaf, shout out to Canadians there, is going to be another toad. So that's 4 of 20 now. So we're making pretty good progress. But before we go, don't forget that there's still a block here, so you gotta jump a couple times. There we go. And we get a shiny hammer, which is pretty nice out of it. Happy with that, for sure. Alright. As we go down the first flight of stairs, there's gonna be a little bit of story development. I like to call him Bobby. So, Bobby's gonna notice this blue streamer, and he's actually gonna run down towards, well, kind of where he thinks the streamer's heading. So, it's important to note that if you try to go up, like the opposite direction of him, it's not going to work out, and Olivia is going to cue you to go after Bobby. So, as we go down here, he's going to tell us that there's no way through. We can't jump over these rocks, and this is basically just a roadblock. So, at this point in time, we have to go, obviously, now in the opposite direction, which is alright. We can simply just go this way. And it's another important thing to note that as it kind of branches off here, you can't really jump over these rocks, nor can you hammer it. So you do need to go on the left and take the low ground. I know Obi-Wan would be disappointed. High ground's always the champ. But unfortunately, we have to take low ground on this one. Now we know how Anakin felt. Alright, continuing on. Here we go. So we're going to come across this pretty weird looking area. Obviously it's a lake that has no water anymore, so we gotta figure out why all these cheap are just like chilling, and kind of how are they really surviving without water. But it's bizarre. I don't really know what happened here yet. One of the toads told us to go take a look at this boat here though. So Olivia's gonna take this little opportunity to poke fun at the Bobby that suffers from amnesia, basically making fun of the fact he doesn't even know what a boat is, but he's going to ignore that, and we're going to find out that, whoa, this was a lake, what's going on? So it's all dried up, as you can clearly read it. Oh my goodness. That's not good, eh? So, after this nice little lengthy discussion, we're going to figure out that, like, a lot of these things that we can't really bypass, like, for example, that roadblock and other things, they're basically because of the drought here. So once we get the water back in, then we can get all those collectibles. And out of this garbage can, we're actually going to get the 5th toad out of 20. So we're about a quarter of the way there now with the toad captures. And I always like to read these signs now and hit them, because there have been a lot of toads that have been hiding in there. And then off to the left here, obviously we're talking with this monkey. It's a little bit bizarre. There's all these cans of like tuna, and you have seen them throughout the level, that there's random cans kind of all over the place. And we don't really know like their importance yet. We just know that they're cans of tuna. as well as once we continue going on the path towards the temple, we find our first magic circle. So this is where we're going to have to go after we beat the water temple. And, well, then we can refill the lake. So behind the staircase, we can see that there's a treasure chest here. And that's actually going to be the first trophy on this level out of 4. And it's going to be number 30, Fallen Leaves. So let's open this up. We're going to get our trophy. Look at that, number 30, Fallen Leaves. Fantastic. Okay, so we got a quarter of the trophies that we can get on this level. So let's continue on to the tall grass area, because that's going to be fun. And if you remember, in the last episode, we did get that toad radar, so that might come in handy here, as you can't really see exactly where the toads are. However, we got the locations for you, so we got you covered. So let's go get the first one. In the bottom left corner of the tall grass area, there's actually a little hole that you can fall into. And as you fall down, there's a toad that is obviously stuck in the ground. So pull him up. And that's another toad, and he gives you a max up heart of +5. So now you have 75 HP, which is pretty awesome. I like this toad. Toad's a good guy. And then at the end of it, you just have to knock down this wall. And good night, Jim Kite. Then we'll fill up hole 5. Getting back to the tall grass area, there's actually a toad in the top left close to that fence that we came in from. So hammering around, we're going to find toad number 7 out of 20, and he's going to skedaddle skadoodle. And you know what? I'm going to put on the toad radar just because some of these are pretty difficult to spot, and they're in some pretty tricky areas. So we're going to avoid this shy guy. You know what? We're just going to beat him up. So there's one actually right here. And we're going to get him. That's toad number 8 of 20. And then as we approach the right side towards the exit, our radar is going off again, kind of to our left a little bit. And we just got to hammer around, hope that we get lucky. Just a little off to our right. And there we go. That's another toad there. As well, before you go away, be sure to go get this block. Now you can't get it obviously from jumping over the fence, so go closer to that sign and then walk down. And that is going to be block 3 out of 6. And it gives us a fire flower, so that's always good. So, hit the sign just in case there's nothing in it, and we're not going to read all that. So, as we get out of the tall grass, Olivia's going to mention that Bobby kind of ran off on his own. So, this guy, I'm telling you, he is never with us. He will run off quite frequently. So, we get our first preview of the Water Vellumental Temple. However, we can't really progress too far here. We have to go get Bobby first. And to go get him, re-enter the tall grass, walk to the bottom right here, and as you get out, he's in the Friendship Plaza just chilling. Look at him. So, after the talking, we get him, and he's chilling in, as I said, the Friendship Plaza with a Mexican-inspired Shy Guy. So, reapproaching the bridge that we saw earlier, after exiting the tall grass initially, it mentions that you're not supposed to jump on the bridge. So naturally, we're going to jump on the bridge a whole hell lot. However, Bobby wants to go make a friend, and it backfires, and he gets thrown out. Now, you can go get him right now, but for the sake of the video, we're actually going to continue on the Autumn Mountain as much as we can. So we're going to beat up this gigantic Goomba, and it's important to note that you will have to go back, and you will have to go and jump off the bridge there to go get Bobby. But obviously, as you just saw, we just got another hole filled, as well as this maple leaf you can't really get by jumping or hammering the ground, so simply hammer the tree and you'll get toad 10 out of 20. Also, as I've mentioned, you're going to need to go get Bobby, and after you get him, you see that hole there? Well, you're going to be able to go get it, because you can't open this gate unless you complete Chestnut, because it'll bring you in that area to begin with, and you can then rip off the bandage. So anyway, continuing on, you venture off a little to the right, you're going to find trophy 2 out of 4 on this level, and it's number 31, the Toad Tram, which is the nice little cable car that we got to ride on. And then as we continue to go up the stairs, you can obviously a nice mushroom hole that needs to be filled. 7 out of 18 on this level, and it turns out to be another kind of like a toad sensor area, right? So we saw this in Picnic Road, where they gave us the toad radar. And this toad, after we rescue him, this is 11 of 20, this toad is actually going to tell us that we can fax travel. So it's their version of fast traveling. So you can go between many different locations, as well as in this instance, he offers us to go back to Picnic Road. We decline. So going out of there and off to the left, we find holes 8 and 9 out of 18. So you're halfway through that, and you're halfway through the blocks, and you're halfway through the trophies, and more than halfway through the toads. And remember, this is only on our first attempt or visit. So after we save up, go off to the right here, and you can go up towards the pipe. Obviously, we just filled that hole. And you can see that red maple leaf on a tree, so we're going to knock it down. This is toad 12 out of 20. It's going to be a happy little jelly bean. It's going to tell us that we can just hit Y instead of always having to hit start, which is very handy to note, because I was hitting start and turning it on myself, not just hitting Y and then activating it that way. After we take this pipe, we're going to find toad 13 out of 20, as well as there's a hole here. But be careful of where you fall now. You want to fall onto the roof. Once you fall onto the roof, you're going to be able to go off to this little area. You hit that little patch of leaves, you get a nice magic circle, and then you can go get toad 14 out of 20 by, you guessed it, squishing this bug. Now, as it says here, we got to go back to the temple again. So, as we're back to the temple, we're going to go off to our left this time, and we're going to take care of this, and we're going to take care of that. Now we're going to find hole 12 out of 18, as well as you can see that block, so let's go get that as well. That's going to be block 4 out of 6, as well as holes 13 and 14 out of 18. So we're making pretty good progress on all of our collectibles so far. Then, you got it, we go through the cave, we run up, and we're going to hammer this stone because we clearly can't jump over it. As we fall, we're going to rip this sticker off, and we're going to get toad 15 out of 20. Now we go back to the save block, and we forgot one thing. So when you go up, instead of going to the pipe, walk away from it, and you're going to find trophy 3 out of 4. And inside of that, it's going to be trophy number 32, the confetti bag. And that is almost everything that we got. So let's continue now and go back to the save block. Now, as we approach the Water Vellumental Temple, there's going to be a toad that actually jumps up to us. So we're going to get him, and that is 16 out of 20. Then as you approach the temple, this is where you're going to have to stop, because you have to go complete Chestnut Valley, because you need Bobby to get that. So if you've watched Chestnut Valley, afterwards you're going to find holes 15, 16, and 17 here. We're going to jump up. Before getting that sticker, we're going to jump down here. Fill this up. That's hole 16 out of 18, as well as 17 out of 18. And we're going to find block 5 out of 6. Alright, and that's all that we have for this one. Hopefully you go watch the Chestnut Valley video, and thank you so much for checking this content out. We appreciate you all, and don't forget to join us if you really like this video. See you in the next one.